Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? Joey Chicken Buckets back here with another video for you guys. And guys, it is Friday night, and I'm going to be giving you my game picks for a wild card round one of the playoffs of the 2022 NFL season. So let's jump right into it, guys. Coming up with the first game tomorrow afternoon, we have the 7th seeded Seahawks at the 2 seeded Niners. So Seattle went 9-8, San Francisco went 13-4. So of course the game is in San Francisco. So for this game, obviously the 7th seed in the NFC was either going to be Seattle, Detroit, or Green Bay. Happened to be Seattle. The Niners, meanwhile, had a very strong second half of the season. They got off to a bit of a cool start, but they really stepped it up. Regardless of who the quarterback was, they had Trey Lance to start. Then there was Garoppolo. Now it's Brock Purdy. But hey, it doesn't seem to matter. They are dominating on both sides of the ball, regardless of who's playing quarterback. Obviously, Purdy has not had to do too much because they've been running the ball really effectively. But hey, he's getting the job done, and the defense is playing really well as well. So I understand, the Seahawks and Niners are in the same division, so of course they've already played twice, and the Niners have swept them, I'm pretty sure. So beating a team 3 times in a season is difficult to do, and I am keeping that in mind. But if I had to pick a team to upset the Niners, it would not be the Seahawks. The Seahawks barely snuck in. They played a lot of bad teams. I also know that they were more of a first half team. They were good in the first half. They were pretty mid in the second half, I think. And with the game being in San Francisco, I could see this game being low scoring and kind of close, but I do think the Niners will be able to take care of business at home. So give me San Francisco winning this game, guys, 24-13. All right, so then this is the next game. We're going over to the AFC now. This is tomorrow night. We have the 5-seeded Chargers at the 4-seeded Jaguars. So, hey, 2 new teams in the playoffs. I love it, man. I am all for new teams jumping into the playoffs. I'm all for the parity. So 2 new teams here. And it's the battle of 2 young quarterbacks in their first playoff game. So this should be really, really interesting. The Chargers, though, are taking hits before the game even gets started. Mike Williams, their number 2 receiver, is out with a back injury. A lot of criticism going for Brandon Staley because there was really no need. He got hurt in the game last week against the Broncos, and there was really no need to play him because they had already clinched the 5th seed because the Ravens lost. So the fact that the starters played that much was just kind of stupid. I know hindsight, it's 2020, but, for Mike Williams, especially a guy who has had a really hard time staying healthy in his career, the decision to play him, I think, was very, very questionable, and it came with a consequence. The Jaguars, meanwhile, did not play their best football last Saturday against the Titans, but they got the win. And yeah, what can I say? Lawrence did not have his best game, but the defense played better, and a win is a win. They're at home, of course. They get to stay home. I don't really know. This is going to be a really interesting game. I think both, and this is kind of an unpopular opinion, I know both offenses are pretty explosive, but I actually think this is going to be low scoring because oftentimes young quarterbacks struggle in their first playoff games. Really, the only exception was Patrick Mahomes. He kind of went off right away. But, you look at young quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all these quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, they struggle in their first playoff games a lot of the time. Again, the only real exception was Mahomes. A lot of these young quarterbacks struggle early on. So with that in mind, it's in Jacksonville. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game, kind of a slugfest. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to coaching. Who is the better coaching staff? And I think it's undoubtedly the Jaguars. I think Doug Peterson's done an excellent job coaching these guys. I really don't think that Brandon Staley is that good of a coach, honestly. So give me the Jaguars pulling this one out. 23-20. Okay, now we're moving into our Sunday games. We're sticking with the AFC here. We have the, in our first game on Sunday, we have the 7-seeded Dolphins at the 2-seeded Bills. So again, for the AFC, the 7th seed came down to the Dolphins, the Steelers, or the Patriots, and it happened to be the Dolphins. The Bills, meanwhile, ended up being the 2 seed, of course. Some controversy because their game against the Bengals got canceled, so there was disagreement on how they should do the seeding and stuff. But regardless, the Bills are the 2 seed. In Buffalo, of course. No Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins. I think it's going to be, I don't know if it's Skylar Thompson who's going to play quarterback. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater. I don't even know who's going to play quarterback for them. But as far as I know, besides the quarterback situation, they're healthy, as far as I know. So that obviously boosts their chances. But without your star quarterback, it's an issue. I wouldn't call Tagovailoa a star, but he's at least their QB1. Bills, meanwhile, Of course, they're in full control. This should be a win for them. I'm not, but then again, the Dolphins beat them once this year. It is no guarantee. And to be fair, the Dolphins made it very, very close earlier this season. I think it was week 16, maybe week 15. I don't even know. Regardless, it was a close game. The Dolphins almost beat them, but the Bills pulled it out. So I could see this game being close, actually. However, both of those games were with Tagovailoa. Now they're without him. So their offense might not be able to keep up quite as well. But if their defense could at least do okay, which they probably won't, I think this game could be close. I don't think the Bills are going to absolutely blow them out. Of course, a year ago in round one, the Bills just annihilated the Patriots round one. I don't think it's going to be an absolute massacre. I do think the Bills will be able to take care of business. Also for the reason that the Bills are so good in round one. Round one, they always play well. And then round 2 and 3, they're very questionable. But round one, especially at home, they should be able to take care of business here against an injured Dolphins team without their starting quarterback. So give me the Bills winning this game, guys. Let's go with Buffalo 34-20. Next game, guys, this is late in the day on Sunday. We have the 6-seeded Giants at the 3-seeded Vikings. This is going to be a really interesting game. I'm looking forward to watching it. So, obviously, the Giants ended up being the 6th seed. They had their best season in a long time. They played, they've had an up and down season, but they finished strong. The Vikings, meanwhile, are just all over the place this year. They are a weird team. Crazy comebacks, some really bad games, just, again, all over the place. So with that in mind, everyone says you can't trust the Vikings, which you can't because they are so unpredictable. What team are we going to see tomorrow? On Sunday. I don't even know. I really don't know what to say. It really depends on what Vikings team we see. However, we do have some logical reasoning here because these two teams met a few weeks ago and the Vikings pulled it out in a close game. It was close. I think it was a game-winning field goal, actually, where the Vikings pulled it out. I'm sure the Giants have that in the back of their mind. And then this is going to be a really good game. However, experience, home field advantage. The Giants haven't been in a playoff game since 2016. It's Daniel Jones' first playoff game. It's Brian Daboll, of course, making his playoff debut, at least as a head coach. The Giants, haven't been in the playoffs in a while. There's a lot of inexperience there. The Vikings, they're young. They don't have the best experience either, but it's definitely better than the Giants. They're at home. So I'm going to have to get the extra Minnesota on this one. I'm cheering for the Giants. I would love to see the Giants win, but I think it's probably going to be Minnesota. So give me the Vikings winning this game, guys. 27-24. Another really close game, but give me Minnesota 27-24. I could see it being another game-winning field goal. And without further ado, guys, here we go. Sunday night, I guess you could call it. 8:15 Eastern. We have the 6-seeded Ravens at the 3-seeded Bengals. So the Ravens, of course, and these two teams, a rematch of last week. These two teams played each other in Week 18, and we meet again in Round 1. So for the Ravens, it's gone from, okay to bad to worse. It's just an absolute disaster for Lamar Jackson. He confirmed last night himself after a lot of, rumors going around. Harbaugh really being cautious with what he says. Turns out that he's got a pretty significant sprain in his PCL. He's done for the year, and he might even need surgery. So regardless of how far we go, it's going to be without our quarterback, and we most certainly will not have our quarterback tomorrow. So that's a problem. That is very much a problem. Another interesting thing, Harbaugh declined to give a starting quarterback for this game. It's either going to be Anthony Brown or Tyler Huntley, which is interesting because it definitely sounds like Huntley is healthy enough to play. Of course, he's been battling that right shoulder and wrist injury, but he threw this week on Thursday and Friday. He seemed comfortable, so I think Huntley is totally healthy enough to play. That tells me that maybe Harbaugh he's decided on a starter. He's just playing hard to get, which is very possible. But it also could mean that he just is not really sure who to go with because Huntley has not proven to him that he deserves his job back, but at the same time, he's not sold on Anthony Brown yet. So I don't know who's going to start. I got to be honest, I really don't know. Who should start? I really go back and forth on this. I think that Anthony Brown, if he develops, could be a way better passer than Huntley, but another thing to keep in mind is Anthony Brown started last week and the Bengals just faced him. The Bengals have not faced Tyler Huntley yet. With Lamar Jackson already out, part of me thinks Huntley might be better because, again, the Bengals haven't faced him, so maybe their game plan will be off. But at the same time, I don't know because Huntley has been horrendous the past few weeks. He's not 100% clearly. He's been battling that shoulder injury. He turns the ball over a lot. Granted, Anthony Brown did last week as well, but it was his first game, so I got to give him somewhat of a pass. So I don't know. I really go back and forth on who I want to start. Regardless, I think if we're going to win this game, we are going to need just absolutely everything to go right outside of the quarterback situation. And then I guess I'll briefly touch on the Bengals. So they're the 3 seed, more controversy with them on, of course, the game against the Bengals, the Bills. But then they were crying all week because apparently they think that we played dirty. They did that coin flip as a touchdown celebration and Mixon got fined for it. Yeah, the Bengals are just so annoying, man. This is a huge rivalry. It would be so nice to knock these guys out, man. So nice. But I think it's probably going to be the opposite. I don't know how we can beat this explosive offense without our starting quarterback. And like these past few games, we scored back-to-back games. We scored 16 points. Before the Steelers, we scored 17 against the Falcons, 3 against the Browns. That was pathetic. Without Lamar Jackson, we just can't score. That's the thing. We really don't do well. And I don't think we can beat the Bengals by scoring 10, 15, 20 points, whatever it is. It's just not going to be enough. Even if our defense continues to play well, mind you, I think we have been one of the best defenses this year against the Bengals. Both times we played them, our defense has done pretty well. But I'd have to think that eventually the Bengals offense is going to get some revenge, and I could see that being Sunday night. And if our offense was at full strength, I would feel better about us maybe keeping up, but it's not. So if we're going to win this game, our defense, I think, is going to have to be absolutely incredible. Our defense is probably going to have to score more points than the freaking offense. It's going to have to force turnovers at the very least. And if we want to win this game, we're going to have a really get the run game going, and we're also going to have to not turn the ball over once. I think if we turn the ball over at least once, the game is we're gonna lose. I think our best hope of winning is the defense needs to be incredible. We need to control the clock, get the run game going, and don't turn the ball over. That is a lot of asks for one night. And with our backups quarterbacks coming in, they both have issues with turning the ball over. I just don't think it's going to work without our quarterback. I don't think we can rely on our defense and luck the whole way. So I'm going to have to go with the Bengals here. I'm pulling for us so hard, man, but I don't think we can get it done without Lamar Jackson. So give me the Bengals winning this game. I think it's going to be close in the first half, and then they're going to run away with it in the second half because I think our offense is going to suck per usual, and our defense is just going to get tired. So give me the Bengals winning this game 31-13. Okay, guys, now we're moving into our last game, Monday Night Football. So they, of course, now on Super Wildcard Weekend, they do a Monday Night playoff game. Back to the NFC now. We have the 5-seeded Cowboys and the 4-seeded Buccaneers. Arguably, I think 2 overrated, mediocre playoff teams. I know they're in the playoffs, but I'm not impressed by either team. The Cowboys kind of had a cool ending to the year, and I don't know. I never trust Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy in the playoffs. You know my stance on Prescott. I think he's really overrated, and I just don't trust him in the playoffs. I don't think he's clutch. I don't think he's a winner in big games. And mind you, these two teams met week 1 of the season, and the Bucs won pretty easily. And then the Bucs are at home as well, which helps. The Cowboys are much better at home than on the road. And with the Bucs being at home, Brady, could this be his last game in a Bucs uniform? Could it be his last game in general? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on that. But the Bucs are obviously going to be playing for Brady, perhaps playing for Todd Bowles. And the Bucs, they're 8-9, but they got the job done. What can I say? They won a pretty pathetic division, but they got it done. Again, with the Cowboys in the playoffs, I know they have a lot of weapons. I know their defense is better. I know that they've improved a lot defensively over the past few years. But I'm sorry, I don't trust Prescott and Mike McCarthy in the playoffs. I really don't. And excuse me, I think the Cowboys are going to find some way to fall again. I don't know what it will be, but playoff Tom Brady against playoff Prescott. The Bucs are at home. The Cowboys way better at home than on the road. So I'm going to get the extra Tampa Bay here. I think it's going to be a sloppy, somewhat boring game. But give me Tampa Bay, and I guess you could call it but not really an upset because they're a higher seed. But give me Tampa Bay winning this game, guys, 23-17. And guys, that is going to do it for this video. Wild Card Weekend, first round of the 2022 NFL Playoffs. Hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I am out. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens, man. Let's make the best captivate. Let's see what we can do. Enjoy the playoffs, and I will see you either Sunday night or Monday with a recap on the Ravens game.